test is not going to be all that hard. Okay, the lecture test is what's going to be the hard one on this one. All right, so you have 2 kidneys, 2 ureters. So right kidney, right ureter, left ureter, urinary bladder. Okay. Inside the bladder, you have little folds called rugae. So rugae of the urinary bladder that allows the bladder to stretch without tearing. Okay. And then when it's emptied, it comes back to its original size, has the folds in it. We have a triangular shaped structure on the bottom of the bladder. Okay, this is called the trigone. So here are the openings of the 2 ureters, and here is the opening for the urethra. Okay, so ureter, urethra forms what's called the trigone. That gives the bladder an anchor to the bottom, something to anchor to, so that it doesn't move around, because you don't want the ureters to get twisted around as they go down to the bladder. So that's what the trigone is for. Okay. And then rugae, that's about it there. Oh, I do want to grab reproductive system. So here, bladder. Okay, the big long tube is the male urethra. Okay, here, right here this is the ureter right here. This is the vas deferens, so don't get it confused. They're really close to each other, but this is the ureter. Okay. Here is the ureter coming down from here. And then, just by way of comparison, okay, female reproductive system, there's the female bladder. Much smaller. Much smaller. Uterus. The uterus is right on top, so when the baby gets big, it just squashes that thing flat. Okay, so that's another reason that you have to pee all the time, but also because your urinary system is working overtime for 2 people, not just 1. So you're not just eating for 2, you're peeing for 2. All right, this is the fun one. All right, so here is a kidney, okay, that's been sliced through the side. All right, the things that you recognize first: renal artery, renal vein. Here is the ureter. This indentation right here, from finger to finger, is the hilum. Okay, the hilum is the indentation where everything either goes in or comes out of the kidney. Okay. All right, the outer part here is the cortex. The inner part is the medulla. I think I have my laser pointer. Yeah. So cortex, there is the medulla. Okay. These big guys here are the renal pyramids. Okay, and this is actually what they look like. Okay, they're not just flat, they're rounded. Okay. In between the renal pyramids are the renal columns. And then this only shows the arteries for the most part, but you have the arcuate artery and vein that separates the medulla. It's shown better over here. Separates the medulla from the cortex.
So on test, how do we answer? Just arcuate artery and vein?
Yeah, I'm not going to separate it. Oh, yeah, it'd just be arcuate artery and vein. Okay, so the little dots, and you can see it better here. The little dots, each one of those is an individual collecting duct opening up here. These are called renal papillae. Okay, renal papillae are these little, where the little dots are opening. Okay, this is a minor calyx. Okay, here, that is a minor. Each one of these is a minor calyx. Okay, where a bunch of them come together. Here's a major calyx, here is a major calyx, here is a major calyx. It's where a bunch of the minor calyces come together. Okay? They all join right here at the renal pelvis. It's where all of the calyces come together. And then we exit as the ureter. Okay? Okay, those are the fairly large structures. All these little dots here, these little green dots, Each one of those is a renal corpuscle. Okay? Renal corpuscle, one more time, is what two structures?
Glomerulus.
Bowman's capsule.
Glomerulus and Bowman's capsule. That is the renal corpuscle. Okay. Over here, we have
So-
things that'll
What's the yellow?
fat.
Okay.
That's just fat. I'm not too worried about that. Okay, so here we have a renal corpuscle. Here it's just opened up so that you can see the artery coming in. Okay. Then as we exit the renal corpuscle, this is the proximal convoluted tubule. We go down into the medulla. We have the descending limb of the loop of Henle, the ascending limb of the loop of Henle. Okay, now we're at the distal convoluted tubule, and it comes over to a collecting duct. And the collecting duct goes down, empties into the renal papillae. The renal papillae empties into the minor calyx, and then we go from there. Okay. You have to look at whether it's coming away from the renal corpuscle, because they don't go just one direction. There might be one that goes off to the left, might be one that goes off to the right. Okay, so make sure that you find the renal corpuscle first and look to see if something's coming out of it or if something is going away from it. Okay. So like on this one, here is the proximal convoluted tubule. We go down the descending limb up the ascending limb. Okay, here's the distal convoluted tubule to the collecting duct. Okay, all of the arteries and veins right here and down here, this would be the peritubular capillaries up here. It's not shown very well on this model, but peritubular capillaries surround the tubular system. The vasa recta surrounds the loop of Henle. Okay, so this is the medulla. This is the cortex. And then over here, what we have is a glomerulus expanding. Okay, so this one, this is an afferent arteriole coming into the glomerulus. The glomerulus is all of these capillaries right here. Okay, so this is the glomerulus. The green part is Bowman's capsule that surrounds the glomerulus. So in between those guys, that would be the glomerular space. It's just what everything is pushed into. Okay. Then as we exit Bowman's capsule, we're in the proximal convoluted tubule here. Okay, coming out of the renal corpuscle is the efferent arteriole. Afferent arteriole goes in, efferent arteriole comes out. And this green one right here is the distal convoluted tubule that's come back around and run into the afferent arteriole. So these specialized areas right here is the JG apparatus.
The colored spot on the front one there?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, it's this right here, and it'd be this part right here. Yeah. And that's about it.
Is there a reason it's green?
No, just green's a good color for it.